Hello again, fellow eaters, and welcome to another episode of Eatin' with Joe. I'm continuing the tour of the 50 most iconic foods from each state in the U.S. 44 down, 6 to go. I'm getting close to the end. Not so fast, my friend. As much as I hate to do it, as much as I want to get to the final list of 50, I have to go backwards before I can go forwards. Today's episode starts with a trip in the Wayback Machine. The year, 1755. So the British were still in control of Canada, and they didn't really care for all the French people there. So British Governor Charles Lawrence thought that he could save a few bucks by downsizing, and he started kicking the French out of Canada. These people were called Acadians, named after Acadia. You may know it now as the Canadian Maritimes or Quebec. Most of these fine French people moved to the French-controlled area now known as Louisiana. Maybe it was the seasickness, maybe it was Louisiana heat, maybe it was just that weird French accent. But the pronunciation of the word Acadian soon turned into Cajun. The year, 1803. The U.S. bought the Louisiana Territory from France for $15 million. Sucker. And that is the complete and unabridged history of the French influence in Louisiana. You're pretty much up to speed. Now fast forward exactly 217 years to the summer of 2020 and episode 27 of this series. In that episode, I called the crawfish boil the most iconic food to come out of Louisiana. You know, I really believed it at the time, but after my recent road trip to New Orleans, I think I got a little bit ahead of myself. What was I thinking, ignoring 217 years worth of French, Spanish, and West African influence on the food in Louisiana? Now, before I continue, full disclosure here, I don't want to confuse anybody. Where I'm from, we typically call them crayfish. You're never going to get enough to make a meal out of them, so we really don't eat a lot of them normally. But down in Louisiana, they're either referred to as crawfish or crawdads. So I don't want anybody getting worked up that I'm calling them the wrong name. So when we were in New Orleans, my eyes were reopened to just what might be the tastiest food in the U.S. Shrimp gumbo, crawfish etouffee, catfish po' boys, beignets from Café du Monde, pralines, red beans and rice. I even tried a crawfish hot dog. Interesting. Had a good old-fashioned southern biscuit for breakfast, fried green tomatoes, of course, hurricanes, and obviously no trip is complete without a big old pile of steamed crawdads. Tail meat out, crack them, suck the heads. That's right, give me some of that sweet crawdad juice.
That was freaking crazy.
Fun fact, when you suck out the heads, you are not sucking out crawfish brains. Crawdads don't have their brains, or what little brains they have, in their heads. Instead, you're sucking out their version of the liver. In other words, crawdad foie gras. Also, if you get to New Orleans for a quick getaway, make sure to set some time aside for a trip to the bayou. I gotta get me one of these. Captain Ernie taking us out. And he got us up close and personal.
OMG. Oh, no.
Anyway, back to the food. All right, so after a lot of deliberation, what is the most iconic food to come out of the state of Louisiana? And in Eatin' with Joe first, the most iconic food to come out of the state of Louisiana isn't a single dish. It's the whole shooting match. It's Cajun food. It's Creole food. It's everything, and it's awesome. And like I said at the beginning, it's impossible to pick just one. Thanks again, Napoleon. All right, so that's Louisiana. I went backwards, and now I can go forwards. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you like us a lot, hey, buy a t-shirt, buy a face mask, or don't, whatever. But most importantly, be good to each other, be good to yourself, and go get yourself some Cajun food. You'll thank me later.